Join us today as we talk about the fact we now have 100 subscribers. Welcome back, everybody, and all you new folks. Although I don't really know who would show up to this particular video as a new person, but hey, maybe you did.
Yeah, maybe.
So, because this video is us thanking those of you out there who have helped us get over the 100 subscriber mark.
Well, at the 100 subscriber mark.
I think we're at 101 or 102, actually.
What? We're higher than 100 now?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So, as of this recording in October, on the 22nd?
23rd.
23rd?
Of 2022.
Yeah. So, like I said, thank you folks for getting us to where we are. I personally thought it was actually going to take longer.
Yeah, so did I.
Because just a little like inside, we are doing this as a project of, these are things we feel passionate about.
Things we enjoy doing.
But let's be real, we all want to get the word out, and it'd be nice if, let's be blunt, if money came in.
Yes.
Now, if that never happens, that's fine.
Yeah,
we're enjoying what we're doing.
Stick to my day job.
Yeah. I don't know if that level of money is ever going to come in, but just some things to improve some stuff, like maybe get a little bit better camera and some sound, and a nice green screen so we can deal with this wall back here.
A room with maybe some baffling to help with noise reduction.
Yes. We'll get a room and we'll put a bunch of LED lights in it under bookshelves that have a bunch of anime figures, so we will look like every other YouTuber that you watch. Because that's what they all look like.
I'd rather not have anime figures.
It was just
We have plenty of D&D figures too.
I have anime figures too.
So do I.
I mean, like...
I also have some Sideshow collectible figures, but I'm not volunteering those.
Well, that's... Your lack of commitment is disturbing. But anyway...
Look, most people probably don't care for the one of those that is my favorite.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. So anyway, but that's way long term.
Yes.
If that ever happens, that's way down the road. We're not doing this seeking fortune and glory. It'd just be nice.
No.
Yeah.
We're just doing it because we think you fine folks out there would enjoy our views on stuff.
Well, for me personally, I've wanted to engage in creative endeavors and actually make something for a long time. I have tried writing. I'm approximately 60 to 70 pages into a potential book, but it takes a lot. And I'm not one of these people that can just knock out 10 pages a day, obviously, because I didn't start last week. I started like 4 years ago. And, yeah. So, this is, well, to be blunt, this is much easier. I just turn on the phone and start babbling. And you folks seem to want to watch. And I get Chad to come in and babble with me, and Brad whenever he can be here, and my nephew Levi, and we've got a whole host of characters that I keep trying to get on the show here, but we'll get them on sometime. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, like I said, thank you very much. And any of you that have helped spread the videos, because I'm assuming that's what's happening whenever I see huge jumps in the views. It could be that the algorithm picks them up and starts suggesting them, but I suspect it's people sharing them because they come in big blocks all at once, at least from what I can see on my end. So if any of you folks out there that are doing that, again, thank you. And those of you commenting, thank you, because that is our method of interaction here. So, anything you guys can do to tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. Mainly whenever I say that, I mean like the format and the presentation, because as I mentioned before, if I do a video and it gets 6 views and I want to do a part 2, I'm going to do a part 2. You know, I mean, not to put anyone down, but even if 100% of you are like, no, I don't want to see a part two, like, I'm probably still going to make it. You don't have to
Yeah.
watch it. I wouldn't want you to watch it if you don't want to.
We don't expect everyone subscribed to watch every one of our videos.
Right. We would cover.
That's an impractical hope.
Yeah, because we cover a very broad variety of topics.
So far, we've had Gen Con, BattleTech, bunch of top 10 lists recently.
D&D,
D&D.
stuff.
We'll probably eventually get into Warhammer 40K.
We've done at least one movie review. There just haven't been many good movies to watch lately.
Yes.
A couple show reviews. We recorded a book review earlier that'll probably be up sometime around when this one comes up. So yeah, and that's
We got some random unboxing videos coming.
yes, and we finally have our piece of equipment that we needed to enable us to do some of the playthrough stuff.
Yes.
Because we know you guys have been asking about that. It's an arm that clamps onto the table and can be fixed in position, but it was missing a piece. The manufacturer finally got it to me, so
Hopefully
we're in the planning stages of trying to make that happen.
Yes.
We know you guys have said that, and when we started, that was something we wanted to do. So now, hopefully, we will be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, overall, and I know for me, like I said, it's wanting to do things that are creative. I believe Chad is the same way. I know Brad is.
I just want to have fun.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
going to be honest.
There you go. So that's why we're doing this, and hopefully you folks are enjoying it along the way. But moving forward, we're planning on continuing what we're doing. Now things like the Gen Con videos, obviously there's only so much we can do when it's not near Gen Con.
We'll probably put those out like starting 3 months beforehand.
Yeah,
Like that's
since we actually have the channel up and running now, well before the convention.
yes.
We will have a few little updates here and there, like, hey, now the tickets are on sale. Hey, the housing portal's open. And then, like, several months out, we're probably going to look at our videos that we have and kind of refine so this is the first time you've been to Gen Con. Here's important things you need to know. That one we'll probably actually put out, like, in December or January, because that's when the tickets go on sale.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best time. Then a little later,
And then we'll do
go over it again.
Yeah.
And do so this is your 4th or 5th Gen Con.
Yeah, and if things go potentially as planned, there's the small chance that we'll be going to Origins next year, which will get its own set of videos.
I'm working on talking them into it.
So, when we go to other conventions, we will do videos for those too. But Gen Con's kind of the big one. So
For us, because it's semi-local for us, honestly.
yeah, but I mean, it is the biggest gaming convention in North America. I did find out it is not the biggest in the world. Essen is the larger one. Whereas Gen Con typically has something like 60 to 70,000 people in the peak years. Essen is like 200,000.
The Essen has not released how they count that number, though.
Oh, well, there you go.
That could be they're counting one head one day, and then every returning people get counted for every day.
Well, that's how Gen Con does it. For Gen Con, if you buy a 4-day badge, you're 4 people. That's how they do it.
I thought Gen Con did it.
No,
By badge,
because Gen Con releases different numbers. They'll tell you total attendance. That's how they count it. Then they'll tell you like turnstile attendance, I think is the phrase they use. That's badges sold, and that number will always be low. That's like 40 or 50,000 if I remember right. It's been a while since I've seen the two different numbers, but that's how they count them, because they count the 4-day pass as 4 people because you're there for 4 days. Is the logic they're looking at it.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it. If you have one ticket, you have one count.
Well, right, but you gotta understand, they don't put that number out there for me and you.
Yes.
They put that number out there for the industry, so they can be like, oh, there's 4 days people are in Indianapolis spending money.
Come by, set up a booth.
Yeah, so to make it, to say, hey, yes, it's the same person, but they're there all 4 days, That's 4 potential days for you to sell them stuff. Okay, that's why they, you gotta look at it like that. Anyway, we definitely plan on continuing the D&D topics. We've got a few kind of running at the moment. We're keeping an eye on the D&D 1 proposals. Our own home game has recently picked back up.
Yes.
And we have a number of other topics we've kind of already started going down, like DM tips, player tips, adapting things to D&D. I have some of those I recorded just as audio. I haven't put up yet. I'm debating on re-recording them as video instead, just because it'll look better. So I don't know for sure on that, but I do have several recorded. I just haven't done anything with them yet. So that I do plan on continuing that. And if any of the other two wish to also jump in on that, obviously, then we will be doing more movie reviews. There just have to be movies to go watch that are worth a darn.
Probably more franchise fixes as well.
Oh yes, the franchise fixes was not a one and done. Will be a thing. But the first one that we put out there, that was just to illustrate the concept. Because the other fixes are probably going to be just a little bit more in depth and don't say this is the only movie and then make sequels. That's the problem with the Highlander franchise. And the fact that the second movie is terrible and the fifth movie is terrible. And yeah. So, but anyway,
see, a lot of franchises could be fixed by going, don't make sequels.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, let's not go into it here, but
yes.
So we do plan on doing that. As far as movie reviews, like I said, there just hasn't been a whole lot out.
Unless
worthwhile.
You guys want our reviews on older movies,
which there's some that I do want to do, like retro, like introspectives on. Like, if we can find the time, because it'll be like a 24-part series, I would like to cover the James Bond movies. But that's like, if we start now, it might be done in 3 years from now.
By then there's going to be more movies.
And I'm going to need to really, and I have to figure out certain aspects of editing that I'm still having issues with to splice scenes in and stuff. So, because I want them to look good too. It's one thing if it's just us here shooting the breeze, but like I need to be able to be like, hey, so in this particular scene, and be able to actually show you the scene. That's kind of important. Well, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. So, we do plan on doing more on that front. I know upcoming movies, if I can get out to see it, I plan on going to watch Halloween Ends. And I know you're not committed to it, but I'd like to see it.
I've not watched most of the newer ones.
There's only 2 new ones. I'll let you borrow.
Again, I've not watched... Let me rephrase that, actually. I've not really seen any of them past Halloween 3, except for the one with Josh Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett?
Yes, him. And that's been like one specific scene where I believe it's LL Cool J, right?
Yeah, he's a security guard.
In the guard shack.
Yeah.
Where Michael is making his way towards the house. That's it. Because that's been on TV recently, late at night, while I've been working.
Okay, so here's some really good news. You don't need to see any of the others for the new ones. They only assume the first one happened. And then them. The one you're talking about, part 7, you only need to see 1 and 2, and then 7 and 8. So the only thing you really got to put time into is the dead ends of the franchise. Like if you want to see 4, 5, and 6. So yeah. Yes, there will be a video all about the fact that the Halloween franchise is like the movie version of a choose-your-own-ending book.
It's like the movie version of the X-Men comics. Which timeline are we in?
Yeah, kind of. So yeah. One of the only things the movies almost got right about the X-Men comics. Which does remind me, that is one topic we haven't touched yet, but we will be in the near future.
That I will enjoy sitting through, though.
Those will be comic books, which are primarily going to be X-Men comics, because I'm the main one that reads comics, and that's what I read. So,
Unless you want to hear about a bunch of random Korean comics I read.
well, I'm sure the folks might want to. So that is something to look forward to. At the moment, though, I have to read through my backlog that accumulated over the summer.
I'm not exaggerating. It might actually be bigger.
That's not inaccurate. So yeah, that's the Krakoa era. That's like current comics when I say that, because I also have boatloads of omnibus format books. Oh God, no! I've got like 6 stacks that high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna say most of those. A fair number of those are just collected versions of books I already have and have already read. I just want them in the oversized format, and I've been selling off the singles once I get them. But anyway, that's we're diverging down. That's another thing we're going to want to talk about at some point is comics, which does also remind me of another movie that we should probably try to see at some point is Black Adam.
Yes.
Reviews are very mixed at the moment. I've been trying to avoid spoilers.
I've had some friends who have seen it and said it's good.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, at the moment, the critics are saying it's terrible, the audience is saying it's great, but I've also seen some YouTube videos, just by the title, that say it's terrible. But I mean, you're going to get that with everything.
I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I don't watch a Dwayne Johnson movie for a good movie. I watch it because there's going to be a lot of action. Maybe some comedy. Like, that's why I watch his movies. Like, I don't go into his movies expecting, like, Dances with Wolves.
No, you should definitely not be expecting that.
Like, I go in there expecting more like Young Frankenstein
Actual dancing wolves
meets, I don't know, Starship Troopers, somewhere in there.
I don't know, Chad. I'm saying this with all due respect to The Rock and his acting capability and everything, but I haven't seen anything he's in that's anywhere near Young Frankenstein. Like, that's a movie that I've seen people legitimately claim is like they're like there's no perfect movie. Like, oh, there is. This is it. And it's the pinnacle of like Mel Brooks's humor. Like,
I thought that was Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles is right up there. Like, also a movie that could never ever be made today,
and cannot be shown on TV today unless like half the script is cut from it.
There's one of the channels that runs it unedited. I think it's IFC because they run movies unedited. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's for those of you who haven't watched it. Watch it on streaming. Don't watch it on, like, some channel that's going to edit things.
Yes.
And you'll see what we're talking about.
Yes.
It's hilarious, but man, oh man.
Remember, the main role was meant for Richard Pryor.
Yes, and I actually watched an interview with Mel Brooks. This guy has, like, done interviews with him over the years and, like, has all the footage. It was just kind of, like, playing it in some kind of weird sequence, and shortly after he made the movie, like, he had an interview with him, and Mel Brooks was convinced that they were going to, like, run him out of Hollywood for making this movie because of, you know, the reasons that we can't talk about on here.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd get the video removed if we mentioned why.
Yeah, probably get our channel removed.
True.
I think. I don't know. I've seen people have the whole, like, people watching the movie. That's the first time they've seen it, so I'm sure they heavily edit what they play in the background, though.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, it's good. It's hilarious.
It is.
Then, yeah, so Black Adam, the Black Panther sequel is coming up.
Yeah.
Probably before the end of the year. I don't know of anything else between now and then. And I don't know offhand what's coming out next year. But then again, this year I was highly surprised by Top Gun, of all movies. I'm not even a huge fan of the original, but that was a really well made movie, the sequel. And I'm still trying to figure out, is it a case of it was a genuinely really good movie, or just everything else has been terrible? So all it took was a largely competent movie to appear to be great. And I'm not sure what the actual answer is there.
You know what gives you that answer?
What's that?
Watching it a few more times.
Yeah, sure, probably. But the other problem is the movie's going to win me over every time. Nostalgia factor for Val Kilmer. That man was robbed of his Oscar that he should have won for Tombstone for playing Doc Holliday. Probably nothing else he's done. He's done some weird stuff, but Doc Holliday, he was on point.
Wow.
Like he should like probably then have that Oscar taken away for being in The Island of Dr. Moreau. But
Yes.
no one in that movie should feel anything but shame for being in that movie. At least Fairuza Balk tried to escape Australia and to get out of it, but they captured her at the airport and brought her back to the set. I'm serious. Like
Wow.
there's a documentary about this movie on Amazon Prime for those of you that have Prime. I don't remember what it's called, but check it out. It's wild. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna do some more movie reviews. There's a few more shows. Obviously, we'll do the second half of Andor, and I don't know what's coming out beyond that. Well, when does Mandalorian season 3 start? Is that before the end of the year?
No clue.
Well, whenever that starts, we'll be talking about that.
Wait, we already had season 3. It had a subtitle. Book of Boba Fett.
No, we only had one episode of The Mandalorian there. You know, it was like episode 8, where it's literally just an episode of The Mandalorian shoved into the Boba Fett show. And then it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm here for the rest of the season. Let's go fight some guys. But Andor so far. Having said that, I have not watched the latest episode. So that'll be episode 7 for the record. And after we're done recording this at some point, I'll be watching the season finale of House of the Dragon, because that's on tonight, but it hasn't been on yet. So, and I have to figure out which episode I missed, because I'd like to do a review for the whole season of that too.
Give me time to get caught up.
Okay, that's fine.
I need to rewatch the first episode to get caught, and then everything else to get caught up.
That's fine. We probably got like a year and a half before the next season comes on. Like, apparently we have 2 years before the next season of the Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah, because they're just
Power.
now filming season 2.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I have not watched that show.
I haven't watched it. Brad tells me I should watch it. The internet tells me I should not watch it. I'm probably going to go with Brad on this one, because I should watch it. I don't want to just prejudge.
How about this?
How about I watch half of it?
I bring you a couple of people I know that have watched it, and they can tell you about it.
Well, why don't you just tell me what they're going to tell me?
Galadriel Norris doesn't know how to sword fight.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, that's actually how one of my friends referred to her.
Okay, like, in brief, like, just tell me what you're talking about here real quick.
I don't know. It's from what they say, it is not good or worth watching, in my opinion.
Okay, let's...
And I've tried to watch a fight breakdown of one of the scenes, and it's like I got like 5 minutes into it, and it's like, nah, like I already know where this guy's going. Like, nah, nope.
I'm not one of those people that get super hung up on fight choreography.
They didn't even get into the fight.
I expect that there's other larger problems with it. Then again, as I've stated before, I don't know if I stated it on here though. So if I haven't, you folks are in for a little inner look at how I view things. While I was watching The Last Jedi, I literally had a moment in the movie where the thought went through my mind of, I do not care what happens to anyone else in this movie at all.
What point was that, Bobby?
That was right after Snoke got killed. Right before the throne room fight. Where I was just like, this is just a bunch of baloney. Like, this is just people flipping around. I'm sure if I paid attention, I could find 10 different times his guards could have killed both of these people.
Yes.
And then I come to find out later on that, yes, I could have, to the point that they actually digitally removed the weapons from some of them.
Yep.
Because they would obviously have been able to kill them.
Yep.
And the fact that I even got to that point was how I knew the movie had completely lost me. Because in most movies, I don't care about those things. I'm not sitting there counting the number of bullets people fire or anything like that. If I get to that point, the movie has failed. And now my mind is just set on how many ways can I hate this movie, and starts to just tear it apart as I'm watching it. Usually it waits until I'm done watching it to do that. So,
Fridge logic.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi completely skipped the fridge part.
Yeah. So, yeah. I now only went to go watch the last movie just because I had to know how it ended. It's one of those like, all right, I know the train has wrecked. Time to go check out the carnage. However, I will give Rise of Skywalker credit for one thing. Whoever just told Palpatine, like...
Ham it up.
Yeah, whoever...
Brilliant idea.
Yeah, Ian McDermott, whoever's just like, dude, just go for it. And he's good, and just, you know... Plus that whole, like, yeah, I don't need a fleet. Watch this. Just Sith lightnings the entire Rebel fleet. Or, sorry, the people, just a bunch of people that showed up.
Random people.
Yeah. Baloney. They should have all died to the Sith lightning. Palpatine should have won right then and there.
Not Wedge. Wedge should have stayed alive.
Wedge was aboard the Falcon. He'd have been alright.
No, he wasn't.
He was aboard. He wasn't flying something by himself. He was with
Because
someone
when he
else.
was in an X-Wing.
No. He's like man of one of the guns on the
Oh.
Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, Falcon. Only ship that should have survived that.
Yes.
And the one with Poe's girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been more inclined if we'd have ever seen her face, since I know she's a known actress. And not
Yeah.
some nobody. Anyway.
They had a lot of non-actors and actresses behind Stormtrooper helmets in those movies.
Yeah, well.
For some reason.
Yeah, so anyway, regardless, the point is, if I'm to the point that I'm picking apart the fight choreography, it's either A, really bad fight choreography, or B, I have long since stopped caring about the movie itself, and now I'm looking for ways to hate the movie.
Which, I don't understand how the casino scene didn't make you lose interest in the movie.
Like in hindsight, I probably should have lost interest the moment the movie picked up right where the other one left off. That should have been the warning sign to me, because no other Star Wars transitions that way. Like, there's a time gap. It's not, oh, this is literally right where the other movie ended. Okay. And then Luke, oh, hey, look at that. Where have you been all my life? Or at least the last 20 years of it. Whoop.
Did you find a hand with it?
Yeah. See, now, if it would open with that,
That would have been great.
the movie would have had my attention for a little while.
And then skipped several months.
Yeah. But no. Anyway, we're going off. There will be a whole video, because yes, even though the movie came out years ago, now that we have a channel, I'm going to do a video about how I hate the sequels.
And how The Last Jedi actually made Attack of the Clones look good to a lot of people.
I still haven't gone back and watched Attack of the Clones again. I've watched Attack of the Clones like twice when it was in theaters. That's it. I've watched bits and pieces of it on TV. I own the DVD. I think I even own a Blu-ray of it. But never watched it. I think the only time I'm going to watch it again is when I convince one of my sister's kids to watch all the Star Wars movies at once or something. Then I probably will. Or I'll just leave the room and let them watch it. I'm just not a big... I don't hate it like I do the others. I'm apathetic towards it.
Look, if we're going to review Star Wars movies, we should just do watch all the movies, review them as we're watching them.
Maybe.
Movie club, people!
Anyway. So there will be Star Wars talk. It will pop up here and there. There will be some franchise fixes. That will probably be the really lengthy one that's like several parts.
Part 1.
So, because it's not just spoiler alert, there's other parts of the franchise that could be fixed. It's not just the sequels. There's other parts that could use some tweaking. But anyway, or as possibly as a thought experiment, like if you actually started and rebuilt from the ground up, what would you keep? What wouldn't you? What would you change? Kind of stuff. Those kind of conversations. But yeah, hopefully going forward, speaking of other things, hopefully we can get our friend Jim involved. Maybe his son Owen. And even if it's just on like the playthroughs of some of the games or something. But Jim is a major video game fan and knows a lot about video games and also a big Star Trek fan. So
yeah,
he's also continually tries to find a positive in the new direction of Star Wars. Knows that
I found a positive about it.
Knows that I seriously disagree, but it is what it is. Not in its entirety. I do like the shows, and I did like Rogue One, and I liked Solo. I just don't like the sequel movies.
Yeah,
I didn't like the fact they dumped the EU. But anyway, we're going off track here, as we do in a lot of our videos. So why not the one talking about having 100 subscribers? Why shouldn't we just go off on random other topics?
yes.
But anyway, like we were getting at, the things we've done so far. I do believe we plan on continuing all of them. Just, things like we mentioned, like the Gen Con is going to be more time sensitive. That's not the kind of thing we talk about all year round. The Battletech stuff, we're going to be doing a couple more lengthy, like, info dump type videos to better explain some things before we start going into the factions. Just so that we're clear on what certain things mean and how they're relevant, and how we probably should have presented it in the first place.
Yes.
And so, which also means videos like those, we're going to start numbering them. That's going to be one other thing. Like it'll be episode 1, episode 2, so that if you come in blind, you know where to start.
And you can see a clear progression of how we get better at stuff.
Yes, and I'm not going to go back and rename anything unless somehow, like, this one's perfect and it could go right here. Otherwise, and I don't expect that to happen, by the way. But since we haven't started the deep dives of the factions yet, I don't have to worry about going back and numbering those or anything. So, but yeah, I mean, and Brad, I put up the intro video to what Brad's wanting to do, kind of solo. It just depends on when we can all get together because our schedules kind of conflict. But he's got a bunch of free time during his job, but he can't be here. He's elsewhere, so he has some time to record, and he wants to do stuff covering like Critical Role and stuff like that, and when he gets a chance, he wants to use his videos too, because he knows you've seen Critical Role.
I've seen some of it.
You've seen a lot more of it than I have.
Yes.
That's the point.
The issue is, every time I've tried to watch it, I can't get into it. It just, I watch it and I'm like, I'd rather be playing.
Well, sure, but...
And then that just takes me right out of it.
But anyway, so he's got some stuff he wants to do, and I believe Chad has a couple things that he wants to do, or at the very least, he wants to talk about Warhammer 40k at some point.
Yeah, because it is one of the other things I do like to do. I still have armies and being constructed, and I do like reading up on the lore in it.
Yeah. So most of the other things that we plan on doing beyond what we're currently doing are more or less extensions of what we're currently doing. Like, it's going to be some other movie stuff, some other show stuff, and then comic books and Warhammer.
And then we'll get into, like we said, the actual plays of board games, dark tabletop games, and such.
And so I know that based on my looking through so you're starting a YouTube channel, here's some advice kind of videos. A lot of them tell you to focus on one thing, and that's great, but
We don't want to do that.
We have like a bazillion interests.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to start 20 channels. So
We're like, ooh, thing over here. Shiny.
yeah, so like if somehow one singular thing just becomes like the thing and takes off, we might make that its own channel and let the other one be our, mishmash of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
That could happen. Who knows? But the rest is, we have these other interests, and more importantly, especially if we're doing like reacting and talking about current products, let's use the hypothetical. Let's say it was just BattleTech. Catalyst does not release new physical products every week,
or even every year.
Well, I think they do every year.
But those are books, not actual like.
Well, sure, but I mean,
here's new minis.
Well, right, but there are new minis released through Ironwind. But that's not the point. The point is, they don't release new physical products every week. They release some digital products almost every week, but they do skip some weeks here and there, plus their conventions. But my overarching point in all this is, there's not a constant flow of BattleTech news. Now, sure, we could spend the next 10 years backfilling, probably, and still not even have it all. But when it comes to new news, current news, we would do like a every other week update. And well,
there's going to be a very short video.
Yeah, like that's not who among you watching is going to subscribe to a channel that produces one video every other week. Like, unless it's like a dynamite video, and those won't be, because it's going to be, oh, well, this e-publication came out this week. That's swell. Which might get the follow-up of, okay, now I've read it, you should buy it. Or now I've read it, you shouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Here's what it's about, And that's going to be it. So, by having these other things to talk about, there should theoretically never be an end to new for us to talk about, plus all the time it's going to take to backfill. But the new, we should have a constant source of new. Between shows, movies, comics, BattleTech, board games in general, Warhammer, Critical Role, D&D. I'm forgetting something in there.
Yeah.
If there's ever a week that somehow there's no news in any of that, you might want to make sure that the bombs haven't fallen.
Or that we're still alive.
Yeah. So that's part of the rationale, and we know that most of you out there don't want to see all of it. Some of you are here just for the BattleTech, some of you are here just for the D&D.
Some of you are probably here just for the top 10 lists.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Sure.
Maybe I picked up someone from the Thor: Love and Thunder review because we're one of the few people on YouTube that wasn't like, God, that's the worst movie ever made.
No, it's not. It's better than The Room.
I mean, somehow our review of She-Hulk is getting more views than our review of Andor, and I don't understand it. But that's not for me to understand. That is for you people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect you to understand it either, but that's what you guys want to see, so that's what we're going to make. Don't worry, we are still going to make reviews for the other part of Andor.
Nope, we're leaving you guys hanging.
Because I think it's really great so far. But again, haven't seen this week's episode. Week of the 23rd.
We're going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger until the second season of Andor.
So anyway, we plan on continuing what we're doing. Hopefully we'll have more days where the three of us can all get together. Hopefully we get some of the other people we keep telling you about to be in here.
Yes.
And we've gotten to the point that I now have a backlog of videos. So hopefully I'll have material, at the very least on a weekly basis. But hopefully enough material that we can put out at least 2 to 3 videos through the week. It just depends on how much we're able to shoot all together. But over the last few weeks, we've been able to accumulate a backlog that I'm still editing. So as I'm editing them, they're being released. So hopefully we won't hit those moments like we have a couple times where 2 to 3 weeks went by and basically nothing came out.
We had massive scheduling issues, and some of us were just really, really tired and could not make it because they work night shift. And
Yes. Lots of things happened, but hopefully we're past those. And if nothing else, I think I can start filming without a cameraman. So,
nope, you need a cameraman who's in the shop most of the time.
well, I'll just get Levi back down here again. He was all for it.
Will your sister drive him down once a week?
Yeah. Hey, Angela, I need you to drive your 11-year-old son down here so he can film me on YouTube and maybe be in the videos.
Yep.
That would go over real well. But yeah, so thanks again. For those of you who somehow came into this video without doing so,
Thank you for showing up.
thanks for showing up. Hit that like and subscribe.
Thank you for lasting to the end of this video.
Yeah, for any of you that are still with us.
We meant it to be short.
Yeah,
It's-
but unless we write scripts, these videos are not going to be short.
no,
Because we've tried. We try, folks.
we do.
And then then I take time to edit them, and I'm still like, I don't want to cut that. That's kind of fun. I don't want to cut that because I don't want to know what we're talking about over here. And
And then, like, there's times where some of us start to ramble and someone's like, we need to get back on track. And they're like, I'm like a quarter of the way through this already. I need to finish.
I was 3/4 the way through it. So anyway, thanks again. And, oh, well, I guess at some point now I owe the folks a video of me explaining how magnets work, don't I? Thanks to you volunteering me for that.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. I'm not a scientist, so don't take anything I say to be
You
fact.
better
Just
not
say
take
no.
the cop-out route.
Say it's magic.
Ugh.
For the record, folks, no, I don't believe it's magic.
Yes, we will be hopefully getting the magnet video done.
Yes, I will actually attempt to read up on the topic, see what I can understand, and go from there. Could be interesting. I might actually understand it. It might actually give you a real scientific answer. Or it could be something that's just completely beyond me, and it's just going to be like, yeah, so negative poles attract. That's it. You just got the video. That's the trailer. That's not just the trailer. That's the movie. God, what was that in?
I don't know.
Hang on. I don't remember if that was in The Simpsons or The Critic. The Critic was a show about a film critic. Jay Sherman was the character's name. Lyle Lovitz did the voice, if I remember correctly. I think it was from that. It was Speed 2. This is before there was a Speed 2. It was Speed 2, speed reading. And so the bomb was in the library, and Keanu's character had to read a book at a certain speed, a certain number of words per minute. And, like, he got it up fast enough to activate the bomb, but that was it. And the bomb blew up. And it cuts back to Jay Sherman. He's like, that's not the trailer. That's the movie. It was like 2 minutes long. So, yeah. I thought it was funny at the time. Look it up. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. Maybe. Hell, the whole series is probably on there. I don't think anyone that owns it was going to be like going after copyrights if the folks that own BattleTech don't go after the BattleTech cartoon. You should totally check that out too, by the way.
Yes.
Highest recommendation. 5 stars. Bob says check it out.
Chad says, watch it and see why Steiner is the best house.
You know, that reminds me. Do you actually read some of our comments?
Occasionally, I go through them. Why?
Someone had a comment about your little, smartest thing Steiner ever did was break back apart from House Davian after the FedCom Civil War.
Yeah.
Let's just say he disagrees. It's like, well, that's quite the interesting take whenever Steiner spent the entire clan invasion being backed up by Davian the entire time, supplying him men, material, and everything else. And that's the only reason they weren't totally smashed by the clans. I told him, it's not a unanimous view, just to be clear.
I'm going to admit it. I am a Steiner fanboy. Don't It just needs to be Steiner. It don't need to be Steiner Davian.
It was their one shot at reunifying the inner sphere.
You know, it might have actually had work if the Davian side of it didn't go, so here's my wedding present to you. I'm going to take that one over too.
Well, it would have worked if they would have actually done that. Like, had they actually conquered the Capellans? Like, you know, what was the Free Worlds League going to stop them? Yeah, right. Kirita would have been the only threat to them at that point. Well, and Comstar, but
Like, focus on one war at a time.
yeah. So anyway, we've gone sidetracked again. So
Yes.
yeah. So like we tried to say 5 minutes ago, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do so we can make more videos talking about how many subscribers we have. Because you know this is what it's all about: is feeding our ego. I mean, entertaining you folks.
Yes, yes.
So
and sometimes we get lucky, and entertaining you folks feeds our ego.
yeah. Like the cut of his jib. Like I gotta remember that. I'm gonna edit that out and make it sound like I said that. So anyway, catch
So
you
what?
folks.
What you're going to like swap my mouth moving with yours and
No. I'll record myself later on sitting here with the audio, digitally remove myself from the previous, delete the audio, replace you with a still picture so you're not talking.
they know it's going to be fake right there because I'm not moving and I'm not talking.
Well, I'll just video capture what you were doing just now and just kind of put you in a loop. Like where you're just kind of like that right there. And then put me in saying that. And then turn to the camera and winking. It'll work. So, if you don't see this video for a year, that's why. I've been busy trying to perfect my editing skills so I can actually do that.
If he tries to do that, we might actually get to the 1,000 subscriber mark first.
No, folks, well, like as a hobby, I might try to do that, but no. Anyway, thanks, folks, for watching. We will catch you later.